New Yorker published this article, A Safe Haven for Late Abortion. It's about a clinic in Maryland that performs abortions up to 34 weeks. The article features the photography of Maggie Shannon. She has been visiting the clinic for almost a year to photograph what goes on in a clinic that does abortions this late. You don't need a graphic image warning. The subjects of her photography are the patients and the providers. There are no images of the fetuses. The article is not very long, and yet in the short space they give us, it's interesting because it rebuts several different common talking points I hear from more moderate pro-choice people about later abortion. First is the question of abortion up until birth. Pro-life people will say that abortion advocates want abortion to be legal up until birth. And this is true in the sense that there are a lot of people who support abortion who don't think there should be any legal gestational limits on abortion, but it's more controversial in the sense that most of those people don't actually believe that abortions are happening that late in pregnancy, and it's not like they would be okay with it or casual with it if they were. They just think that we are fear-mongering and exaggerating when we talk about abortions very late in pregnancy, and they think that the risks of that happening are considerably lower than the risks of letting the government regulate or interfere in abortion. But this clinic, Partners in Abortion Care, they provide abortions up until 34 weeks, which is somewhere between 7.5 and 8 months into pregnancy. And they talk about how they have to turn people away who seek abortions with them who are past 34 weeks. So two things to notice there. First of all, people will seek abortion very late into pregnancy. And second, they will seek those abortions in states that have no gestational limits on abortion because abortion policy matters. The second idea is that abortion after viability or into the third trimester is just giving birth. There are a lot of abortion advocates that say the definition of abortion is simply termination of pregnancy. It does not have to entail death. And some of the people who use this definition think that that means that after viability, terminating the pregnancy just means inducing labor with the intent and the result of a live birth, and then that baby is taken to a NICU and they do what they can to keep the baby alive. This is a pleasant fiction. And they're very blunt about it in this article. They talk about how they give an injection to stop the fetal heartbeat before they induce labor or otherwise remove the fetus from the woman. They don't have any live births because that is not the point of abortion. And then finally, probably the most common misperception we hear from moderate pro-choice people about later abortion is that it is always or almost always because of some sort of medical emergency, specifically meaning some sort of threat to the woman's life or some sort of fatal fetal abnormality. I think that I actually have something in common with the providers in this clinic and with the people writing these articles in that we want moderate pro-choice people to understand that's not all later abortion is. The author of this article chose to highlight in particular a woman who came in for an abortion at 32 weeks because she did not realize she was pregnant until 30 weeks. Zero mentions of any health conditions for her that were dangerous and zero mentions of any abnormalities with the child. Keep in mind too that at 32 weeks, if you induced labor for an early preterm delivery, you'd have a 95% chance of that baby surviving. But abortion isn't just about ending the pregnancy, it's about making sure the pregnancy does not end with a live child. So if you are a moderate pro-choice person and you oppose gestational limits on abortion in part because you believe that no one is aborting viable fetuses or fetuses into the third trimester except for a medical emergency, or because you believe that abortion at those stages is just early preterm delivery with live birth, please reconsider.